Oh, man, when you think you have seen it all, you see something else. That's a phrase I like to use a lot because in life, it's honestly, it holds up, and football is a part of life. And sometimes I wish it wasn't. Sometimes I wish I never discovered this sport because there are certain things that happen that make me not want to exist. And we're going to go over some of those things, like maybe like being down by 60 in fantasy and almost coming back only for Jackson Smith and Jigba to drop the touchdown after going off in the first half. Drops the touchdown in the second half, and I lose by 9 points. Now, the Rams and Jaguars played in London, and it was just a blowout. It was a complete blowout, not even close. Devontae Adams had 3 TDs. Stafford threw for 5 on like 180 yards, so it was just efficiency. Jacksonville, they just had no answers on offense either. ETN did nothing. BTJ is nowhere to be found. Travis Hunter scored his first career touchdown, and he looks like he's Jacksonville's official wide receiver 1, finally. His offensive snaps have been going up ever since week 1. It fluctuated a little bit in the middle, but ever since 2 weeks ago, it's been going up, and he played like 80% of the snaps this week, so that's pretty damn cool to see. The Eagles and Jalen Hurts looked really good. Jalen Hurts finally threw for over 300 yards. That was the first time he did that in 22 games. And Devontae Smith and A.J. Brown, they ate up the Vikings defense. They burned all the DBs. Everyone was just getting cooked, getting burnt like toast all game, just going deep shot after deep shot. They easily had their best game. AJ, Devontae, and Jalen all together, collectively as a unit, they had their best game. Vikings almost came back. They had 2 near touchdowns, 2 touchdowns that were later confirmed to be drops when it looked like they were catches. And my boy TJ Hawkinson was upset about that. I saw it and I understand it, but you ever just think for a second that maybe you guys are just ass? Maybe the Vikings are just ass. Maybe you guys just have a shit quarterback and a shit team. You ever think about that? No, I'm kidding. I don't even like Philly. I don't even know why I'm defending them. But I have to be unbiased. Drake May might be top 5. This guy might actually be top 5. I'm not even. He is top 5. He's playing like a top 5 quarterback in the league easily. He leads the NFL in completion percentage on throws 20 yards or more in the air, and he broke the Patriots record for completion percentage in a game. Sunday was the first time this year that he had a running back look like a running back. Ramondre Stevenson had 88 yards on 18 carries. And that was like the first time all year that's ever happened, that a running back has gone over fucking 60 yards, I think, on the year. And Drake May was still balling before that. So imagine this team gets a running game along with Diggs and Booty and Pop Douglas and that O-line and Drake May hooping in that defense. It's like Patriots might be back. And Mike Vrabel, Coach of the Year sleeper, I think. And I'm just going to go ahead and say this right now. The Travion Henderson breakout, it's just not going to come. It's not coming. Travion's not coming. Pause. Major pause. But it's just not going to happen. He had 2 touches on Sunday. That was the final straw. He's on my fantasy team. He's on my bench. And it's so fucked because I truly do not think I'm ever going to drop him just for the slim hope that I have that he's still going to have a breakout. I just don't think it's ever going to happen. It's pretty fucked, but it is what it is. Patriots are for real, man. They're for real. They're no joke. That defense is for real. Vrabel has those guys, but you already knew that's what Vrabes was going to do. You already knew if you guys just paid attention to him on the Titans in those few years that he was there. Actually, he was there for 6 seasons. He transformed that organization. He made them into a winning organization. They may not always have had the best roster. They weren't always going to have the best stats, but they were winning every single year in, year out. They were playoffs. They made the 1 seed. I mean, they made the AFC Championship game. They were the 1 seed one year. They were legitimately in great hands with Vrabel, and they fucked it up. They let go of a guy who they should have never let go of, and I'm telling you that right now. I'm just saying they're going to regret it later on down the line. Well, they're already regretting it. If they can't find someone to fill in for them, they're going to, really, really regret it. So, And to everybody's surprise, the Carolina Panthers have won 3 straight games, and this is probably their best team since almost a decade ago. I think you could be 2017. They made the playoffs. They were 11-5, but I think just talent wise, I think this team is better than that one. And yeah, easily, I think so. And so this is their best team in like a decade. Look, I'm gonna be honest. There's no way in hell, no shot in hell that I thought Bryce Young or Dave Canales were going to be on this team next year. To see that, you know, they don't give up on Bryce Young and they don't give up on Canales. I mean, Bryce Young was benched. He was benched. He looked horrible. Like, the team was horrible, but that's how it is for any team. If you don't have good players, you can talk all you want about leadership, about they're not doing this enough, they're not doing that enough. If you don't have good players, it doesn't matter. Like, it really, sometimes it is that simple. You have great players, you have decent coaches, and things go your way. What's up, Ruby? Fucking dog, man. You know, you get some luck on your side, you got good players, you're going to win some games. You're going to be good. Okay, like, sometimes your roster just fucking sucks, and it takes a few years to get out of that. You know, people want to make up all these, like, you know, things about the coaches, and the coach isn't doing this enough, this coach is bad, that coach is bad. Like, they need to run the ball more. They need to do more play action. Like, all those little things that fucking, at the end of the day, they really do not matter. Sometimes you just get lucky. Teams that are really good, they get luck with injuries. They get things to go their way sometimes, and they have a few good players and a really good quarterback. That's what it is. It just is that way. Okay, coaching does have a lot to do with it, yes, but it is so rare to find those. There's only like 5-6 head coaches in the league that are like potential Hall of Famers, like every 5 years. I wouldn't even say that many. I mean, it is so slim. You could name like 4 off the top of your head right now that are that could probably be in the Hall of Fame. So it's rare. The coaching matters, but it's so much more rare to find a great coach, a great coaching staff, than it is to find a lot of good players or some great players to have on your team. So, and I'm not saying Carolina is great, but I'm just saying in general, that's what I think about the league now. And the Panthers are, you know, they're a good example of patience and what it could do for you. So that's good to see. I'm happy for Bryce Young. The Dolphins are cooked. I mean, it was just so bad. I mean, to put it in perspective, during like a game day break, like it was a game day, what's it called? A game day update. A game update. Like they do those when you're watching a game and they have like the people in the studio that say, you know, update on a game, and they show a highlight. And they did it for CBS. I think it was for CBS, and they showed Tua throwing a pick. In that moment, they were showing the highlight. Tua threw another interception. That's like, I don't think I've ever seen that. I've never seen that before. That's the Dolphins season in a nutshell. That's Tua in a nutshell. It sucks, man. He was good for a year or two. He honestly played pretty solid at the end of last year. And Mike McDaniel said, if you continue to hurt the football team, you know, he's forced to, you know, replace you, basically. So he's talking about Tua. He said that Tua was going to continue to be the starter. Listen, man, I don't know why. It's like, I think that McDaniel probably wants to lose his job. Honestly, I wouldn't even blame him. Yeah, the Browns cooked the Dolphins. Defense looked good. Judkins is the best rookie running back in the league. Yeah, I said it. My OSU Pookie, Quinshon Judkins, had 3 TDs on the day. I drafted the wrong OSU running back. Let's just say that. And speaking of fantasy too, I started Caleb Williams over Daniel Jones, Indiana Jones in fantasy. And I lost by 8. But nonetheless, the zesty gunslinger didn't have to do much as Swift and Fun Guy took over the backfield and took over the game. The Bears handled the Saints. Their defense was getting pressure. They were getting takeaways. They've been getting takeaways for the past few weeks now. They're on a 4-game winning streak. The Bears are on a roll. And Ben Johnson said this before, that they're not going to be playing their best ball until December. And yeah, as for the Chiefs are back. They're back. It was a short dream. It was a, you know, all good things must come to an end, as they say. And it was a short-lived dream, and now we're back in a nightmare. I hate everything. Yeah, you might as well just go ahead and pronounce the L in salmon. Stop using your turn signal. Nothing matters. We're all going to die. and I'm very dramatic for comedic effect on this show. Well, I mean, I guess it's not that funny, but I'm just saying I'm very dramatic. But in all seriousness, I'm being for real. That was probably the worst performance by a team I've seen in like 10 years. They had under 100 yards of offense and 0 points scored. Geno Smith had like 60 yards passing. Like, I'm being so dead ass. Like, do you know how bad you have to play for that to be the case? Like, it's almost as impressive. Actually, no, it's more impressive that they were that bad than if they were to go in there in Kansas City, into Kansas City and beat Kansas City. In a weird way, they were impressive. So I guess that's good for them. Good for them. Chris Jones was drinking vodka on the sideline is what it looked like. People were saying it was a fancy water bottle, but I don't fucking know any water bottle that looks like that. And I've had Voss before, okay? Voss water with a V. Yeah, I mean, if there was ever a time, though, in a game where players should be allowed alcohol, it was that. They beat the shit. It was straight belt. I mean, it was straight belt. He deserved the drink after that performance. Rashee Rice came back and had 2 touchdowns. Like I said, no surprise. What did I fucking say? I said he was going to come back and he was going to ball. I knew it. Rashee Rice is that guy. There's one player on the Chiefs I like. It's him. Jonathan Taylor, 3 touchdowns. Jonathan Taylor, Offensive Player of the Year? ? Maybe, probably. Daniel Jones, Comeback Player of the Year? ? Psych. That's fucking Christian McCaffrey. Christian McCaffrey's the Comeback Player of the Year and the MVP. All right, what the fuck did he come back from? The Giants? Daniel Jones? Nothing. He can come back from anything. He came back from being ass. That's what he came back from. Yeah, man, honestly, I'm happy for Daniel Jones. And I don't think him playing this good is that much of a surprise. Like, because you saw in New York, the guy, I think he did the best he could with what he had and the situations that he was in. I mean, he had went through 3 different head coaches, so many different receiving cores and running backs and systems. It's just, there's really not much that you can do. And to be honest, bro, the Giants were never good. It's not like they had good talent when he was there. They never really did. 2022, I think they got lucky. They didn't turn the ball over a lot. They didn't beat themselves up. They won close games. I think it's not that much of a surprise, but still, I definitely was not expecting him to play as good as he has been. So the Colts are great. I mean, they have a good D-line. Pass rush is really good. Offensive line is really good. They don't beat themselves. They have a balanced offense. They don't turn the ball over. They take the ball away. They're doing all the little things right, and they have a good roster. So there's no surprise that they're 6-1. And to be honest, they probably should be 7-0. And they're no joke. They're a good fucking team. All right, they're a really good team. And it's about time we see something different in the AFC. It really is. The Broncos, they're leading their division. The Steelers, the Colts. It's fun. The AFC is fun once again. Dude, that Giants game that shit was tough. I mean, I was at a bar and it was all Giants fans and it was just dead silent. You couldn't. It happened so fast too. I'm on Instagram, I'm making a post on the Deep Ball about the game, about how Jackson Dart it was 26-8 at this point. I was making, I was throwing out the receipts of Benito and Jonathan Cooper and saying Jackson Dart shut them up. And I was about to post it, and then Denver scored again, and I was like, all right, let me hold this for a little bit, because if the score keeps changing, or the Giants score again, I want to have, the right score for when I post it. So I was going to wait till the end of the game. And then in 10 minutes, they came back. It really was, it was unbelievable to see, but it happened so fast, you almost couldn't believe that it happened. It was surely the Giants were going to win because they were playing good all game and they had that crazy touchdown. But no, of course they didn't. At the end, I was like, all right, well, they're going to come back and they were going to score the touchdown, and they did. And then they missed the extra point, and it was you knew exactly what was going to happen, bro. It was every time you think you've seen it all, you see something else. It is so fucking true in life and in sports. It's just fucking ridiculous. 33 points in the fourth quarter. You'll never see that again, ever. Bo Nix became the first player in history to have 2 passing touchdowns and 2 rushing touchdowns in one quarter. That's never happened. Teams that had an 18-point lead with a certain amount of time remaining in the fourth were like 1600 and 0, 1600 and 0, meaning wins and losses. And yeah, everything about that game, bro. Everything. You've heard it all. You've seen it all. You've seen all the stats. You know how crazy it was. I don't have to tell you all that. I mean, Brian Burns was crashing out, heading to the locker room. I mean, it looked like Dayball. They were saying like Dayball and Bowen were like, Dayball was upset with Bowen, but he later said that there wasn't a problem with them. Which, I mean, I don't know, man. You look at Burns, he was saying we're fucking dropping 8 people in coverage, and it's like, yeah, why the fuck are you doing that? Why are you only rushing 3 in certain situations? In that situation at the end of the game, it's tough, bro. It's tough. I don't know. If I'm a Giants fan, I'm like, the future looks bright. But it's this season you realize that you could be so much better when like your schedule was the hardest. Like you could be so much better and you know it. Like it easily could be 4-3. And 2 other NFC East teams, the Cowboys look really good. Their offense looked amazing. I mean, they were just clicking. They were just clicking all day. They had no. It was almost a perfect game. CD, it didn't take long for him to come back and pick up where he left off. Pickens is obviously having the best season of his career. I mean, you give Dallas like a mid defense. I mean, you give them like a like not even top 10. You give them like a top 20 defense. They're easily like, I'd say 5-1, 5-2. I think so. I mean, dude, their defense is so bad. It's like historically ass. They're giving up 400 yards a game, 29 points per game. It's just bad. And it sucks because Dak is playing at an MVP level. As for the Commanders, I don't think they're going anywhere. I just think that everything that's happened, like with Jaden getting hurt and you've had injuries, you've really never been able to get on the same page with your team. Yeah, the Commanders are 3-4, and they go into Kansas City on Monday night next week. That is brutal. Like, brutal. 49ers and Falcons. I think after the Fred Warner injury, I kind of put all my expectations just down the drain. I'm just going with the flow now. So I was very, very mellow. I usually am like shouting and going crazy during a game, but I wasn't. But like I said this when we were playing the Rams. I was like, we're going to get our ass beat. And I said the same thing about this game, but we didn't. Usually the way, when you think it's going to go one way, it goes the other. And I think San Francisco, they couldn't have like a better situation this year for a situation like this with injuries. You have 2 of the greatest play callers in their respective roles. Shanahan is the greatest offensive play caller, I think, in the game. Saleh is the greatest defensive play caller in the game. You have that on your team. That is like one of the most rare things you can ever have as a football team, to have your defensive coordinator and your offensive coordinator be 2 of arguably the best. And the linebacker that took over for Fred Warner, Tatum Bethune, played amazing. And everybody was saying that he was ready for that. He was ready for that expanded role. He was ready to take over. He's a great linebacker. So, the next man up mentality is a phrase that gets thrown around a lot. But I think in this case, easily, I think it holds true with them. Guys like Chase Lucas, Darrell Luter, Bryce Huff, Samuel Kawanu, D. Winters, Tatum Bethune, they're all stepping up. The rookies, Alfred Collins on the D-line, Michael Williams, like everybody is stepping up and playing well. Something in the air with the Niners. I don't know. They usually don't get lucky with a lot of things, but just in terms of winning games, they're getting very lucky, but they're also being coached the hell out of. Like Shanahan and Saleh, they're legends, bro. Without them, we would be fucking lost. We would be nowhere near the team that we are right now. Bryce Huff, though, I think he's the replacement for Bosa, and like I said, another great situation. We traded for him, and he's playing at that level of Nick Bosa. Like, he really is. But he got hurt, and we're gonna miss him for 2 weeks. It's just, it doesn't stop. I don't think it's gonna stop. I want it to stop, but best case scenario, people stop getting hurt like this, and we get Ayuk, Pearsall, Purdy back in like 3 weeks, and our offense takes off, and we're were balling. The Monday night games were very interesting. It's like the two teams that won seemed to dominate soundly, but you look at the score and it was like 2 possessions and 1 possession. Like the Lions game was a little, more of a sound beatdown. Like their defense they made the Buccaneers earn every yard. Like every single yard. The Bucs were slowly going down the field. Every pass was like a short completion, tackled right away. They took so many deep shots to the end zone. They could not hit any. But the thing that pissed me off about the Bucs play calling was especially like when it was the fourth quarter with like 10 minutes remaining and they had the ball, it was every play. Once when they got past the 50, it was 3 receivers or 4 receivers running straight and running whatever fucking route they were running. They were running 4 verts. They were running like switch concepts and posts, and people running in the same fucking direction sometimes. It's like, it made no sense. Like there was no creativity whatsoever. They threw no screens, no like receiver screen, no running back screen. There was no easy completion. They weren't drawing anything open to make it easy for Baker because the offensive line couldn't hold up, especially at the end. And it was like they weren't doing anything to adjust. And Baker, if he's at the line, he can adjust and audible, but it's like, I feel like in that situation, if you're the offensive coordinator and you and Baker are on the same page of what you want to do, and you're like, okay, let's take some shots here so we can score now and then get the ball back with 5 minutes remaining instead of like 2 minutes remaining. I get it, but at the same time, it's like, as the OC, you got to make that decision. I think, like, yes, Baker can audible, but I think you got to be the one to take over and be like, okay, this is what we're going to do. We're going to change up the strategy. Let's do this. And I saw they were chipping sometimes, but it still wasn't enough. It was the same shit every play, especially at the end. They were just running 3 verts, 3 receivers just going straight. Nobody was coming across. They were motioning, but it still just wasn't like, it was just a mess. It was shit. And as for Houston and Seattle, that game was weird. That game was so weird. Houston's defense had 4 takeaways, a defensive touchdown. That's an insane effort by the defense, but dude, Houston's offense is just dog shit. It is just dog shit. And it's not even really CJ's fault. He's got no protection. Seattle had 28 pressures on the game last night. Fucking just dominating. They were just dominating. Stroud he was getting beat up. You're playing a very good team next week in San Francisco, just in terms of, the way that they're rolling, and Saleh is going to dial up the perfect game plan. So it doesn't get any easier. Yeah, you're probably not going to face the same pass rush, but still sound defense. And both teams, honestly. I think next week's game against us, it's going to be like whoever has the ball last, whoever makes the least amount of mistakes. It's going to be a low-scoring game, like 20-17. I could see either team coming out with it, but Houston they're not in a good position right now. They're just, yeah, it's tough. They can't run the ball either. Every time they tried to run the ball up the middle, they absolutely got stuffed every single time. Woody Marks, every single time they tried to run up the middle, they could not get a single yard. It was insane. They were just completely stuffed. The D-line for Seattle just played their best game of the year, I think. Yeah, JSN, he's the best receiver in the game right now, and I love to see it. I hate that he's on Seattle, but I love me some JSN. So, and if you watch, like, every single time Darnold throws him the ball, like, they're on the same page, like 90% of the time. So they are both just like, they're in sync. They're carrying the offense. Like, if Seattle can like just get a little bit more consistent in the run game and stop making mental mistakes, stop turning the ball over, they're a very, very good team. Like, they could be a real threat. And Seattle's offensive coordinator, Clint Kubiak, watch out for him to be a head coach real soon. He's Gary Kubiak's son, obviously, so he comes from his tree, and Kubiak was a very accomplished head coach. That's all I got for today. I didn't do my outro last week. So I'm from New Jersey. Tony Soprano, Gabagool, Baba Booey, the Jersey Shore, Paulie D, your sister's ass. Thanks for watching. Love you guys. See you in the next one. Peace.